Welcome to the Erasmus Foundation podcast. My name is Paul Nugent. Are you looking for answers to life and its meaning? Then this may well be the very podcast you need to listen to. In a series of podcasts, we are going to look at the difficult questions of life and apply spiritual knowledge to find out the answers. Hello. Today, we are going to look at the subject of an analysis of evil. And with us today, we have Lord Zepidus from Spirit, who I am really looking forward to talking to, as I haven't spoken to him for many years. So, greetings, Lord Zepidus.
Greetings.
Now, the first question will be quite straightforward. What is evil?
Well, evil is contained in everyone, all spirits, those of the earth living as humanoids, and spirit elsewhere, other dimensions, other planets, and at home in spirit, in my land, where I come from. But it is contained in many, in small amounts. And according to the wisdom of the great mind, evil must be contained in all, so that each one of us, without exception, has an understanding of what evil is. And on the earth at this time, not fully understood and realized by man, but his whole planet is shrouded in cobwebs of evil, which have been accumulated by those who have been working in this cause, walking that path of life, which is enshrouded in darkness. And so it is that their very good work has caused this to happen in strength across your world. And it will be for man to come to the realization, to understand what evil is, so that in turn he may suppress it and make it weaker, as it should be.
Thank you, Lord Zepidus. Now, I'm wondering whether mankind appreciates what evil is. Do you think they do?
No. I suspect many people of the earth do not have full realization of how evil has penetrated their society, their culture, their life. And of course, while it is disguised in many ways, evil is then free to pursue its endeavors, its aims, unnoticed by many. Some parts of your history, some events that still occur within your world demonstrate evil very clearly, and that is understood. It is perceived for what it is, but there is much which is hidden. And it has always been said that evil will hide behind beauty, where it can be disguised. But one day man will have the eye to see the transparency of this and to look and comprehend clearly when evil is present.
Now, the question I have here is evil strong? And I suppose to add to that, how harmful is it for man?
Evil is strong on your planet, very much so. It no longer has the influence it has in the past elsewhere, but upon your earth, evil is most strong and continues to be, although it has weakened in some respects. But also, evil offers those who pursue it power. And power is something which is quite temporary. It is given and it may be taken away. Now, strength, as particularly those within the light who are strong, have earned their strength by their own right. They have gained it through the experience of many reincarnations upon your world and perhaps elsewhere, endured many tests and challenges in life, and gained strength as a consequence. And that cannot be taken away. That is for everyone. It is their right. What they have earned is theirs by right.
My next question to you, Lord Zephyros, is this. Where does evil come from?
Contained within every spirit. When you are first created, first taken as a seed from the pool of life by the great mind, who then takes that seed, breathes on it, and creates life. But in doing so, imparting within that seed from his own mind elements of evil as well as good. And throughout the long history, the long life of that spirit, that one will gain knowledge and understanding of evil. And one would expect that eventually they will work through evil so strongly that it will be suppressed very much within their being. But that content will always be there, even to a small degree. Where does evil come from? Well, really, it has always been there. For in all things within the universe, within the natural law, there must be a balance of all things. So there has to be good and evil, as indeed there is darkness and light. And this has always been. It is the very foundation of everything. And therefore also, if all of this is put to order by your God, we say the great mind, then of course evil is contained to a small degree within God. It must follow that if God allows evil to exist, it is there for man, for spirit, for all to work through. And in his wisdom, he is offering this. He is creating the balance. And it is for all of us, his children, to work through this and to ensure that light remains and prevails.
Thank you. Would you say then, I am guessing this question may be a little bit redundant now, that has evil always existed in the universe?
Yes. Yes. There at home in spirit we have certain, we say books, certain records of the history of everything that could be recorded. But where does life begin? Who knows? Perhaps it has never begun. It has always been. In which case, then, evil has always been.
That's a very difficult concept for my little brain to understand. It's very difficult. You know, we have constraints in our lives, don't we, here on earth? We have a beginning and end to most things. So to say that something always exists is a very difficult concept, but not that I don't accept it, but I just don't understand it. So,
and no, that is understood.
Yes.
We see things a little differently in spirit.
Of course.
It is with greater clarity we see these things. And we are not affected quite perhaps emotionally as man of the earth with some of these concepts.
Indeed. Do we ever consider ourselves to be evil, or do you think we pretend we are doing the right thing?
That is a very good question. For it is very easy for man to point his finger at his neighbor, at his brother, and see the acts of evil or the content of evil within another. And even with an acceptance, an agreement to believe in reincarnation, knowing full well that a person may have had many lives before this one, in reality, some of them may have been quite dark and even possibly quite evil. But then that would be very hard for some to accept, and not something people would readily want to admit to or even consider. But that is a fact of life, that for all spirits have got to have had some understanding of evil, have got to have touched evil in some way, to have some knowledge of it, to have been all things, seen all things, and done all things before they then reach a stage of evolvement in spirit when they are no longer required to live lives on the earth for their own progression, but go forward to other places besides the earth.
So, Lord Zepidus, I have one of your questions here, and you may have already answered it, but I'll ask it anyway. So why does it exist, and why does God allow it to exist in our universe?
Because that is truly the only way spirit will come to learn what evil is. It is there. It is the other side of the coin, you might say. It is the part of the balance, so that there is evil and there is good. There is light and there is dark. And it is very important, it is essential, a part of life, that knowledge and experience of these things is required for all spirits to know the facts of life, to know what life is really about, what is contained within life and the universe. It is necessary that evil is there, and more so in the future, particularly of your earth, that it is contained, it will be controlled, it will be much lesser in strength, and light will abound with good reason and logic. But more importantly, the light will overcome evil. But in doing so, it will have the knowledge and understanding given to those with these experiences to fully comprehend what evil is. And that is the purpose of why evil is allowed to exist.
I would expect then, Lord Zepidus, that it will always remain in our universe because of that, I'm guessing.
Well, I would think so, yes. And as spirit evolve more and more, become stronger, and grow and progress, evil will really be diminished and left behind, only leaving a scar behind, but it will be there. And more importantly, the memory held within every spirit will have knowledge of it, know how it worked, know its purpose, and what it is capable of doing. All of these things and much more. But that will then be a memory.
We're coming to the end of this podcast, and I just wonder whether it's anything else you'd like to add before we finish today.
No, I think having said repeatedly that your earth is overshadowed with evil, and it is going through a most hard and difficult time, but it will be overcome. It will be diminished in strength. It has to be. And indeed it will. And that is the future. And it is good. And it is much to look forward to. That I can promise you.
Thank you very much, Lord Zebetus. That was great. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, my son.
The Erasmus Foundation is a spiritual teaching and healing foundation based in Laxfield, Suffolk, in the United Kingdom. We have a webpage, www.erasmus-foundation.org. If you would like to be a guest on our podcast, or indeed have further questions for us, then please contact me on paul@erasmus-foundation.org, and we'll do our best to accommodate you. Thank you very much for listening.